Hey guys, it's a little bit different today. It's going to be the first video in the diary of a Wargamer series I was telling you about in the previous video. First video on my new camera. I'm not sure how the quality is going to come out as of yet, because on the little screen, you can't tell how good the quality of the HD is. So let me know if this camera is better than my old camera, and how much better, and things like that. Just let me know what you think. So yeah, basically, we're going to talk about today is how you can become a better wargamer. Now, I don't just mean, watching a video on YouTube and picking up a one-trick pony tactic, or logging into Warseer and copy and pasting an army list from there, like a lot of people do these days, which is a shame. What I'm talking about is actually physically and consciously acting to improve your own game. And we're going to implement something that's known in many different areas of academia, like sociology, business, all types of things. It's called the Kolb's learning cycle, and basically it's a 4-step process of how you learn to do something. Now, this may be quite elementary, guys, so I apologise. I'm not trying to offend anybody. So I'm going to start very basic, because there could be someone out there watching this that's never played Warhammer before, wants to know how to get better, and wants to be like the good players out there, the tournament winners, and hopefully this will set them on a path to improving themselves towards that. I'm not saying I'm the best gamer ever. You don't have to listen to what I say. It's just it's a theory put forward by someone else. I'm just applying it to our wargaming hobby, and this is how you use it. So basically, the first step, always the first step in anything really. The first step in the Kolb's learning cycle is your planning. Now, planning is the biggest and longest and sometimes the most tedious step along the cycle to learning to play wargames. Planning incorporates everything. Planning is thinking about what army you want to play, thinking about whether you want to play fantasy or 40k or war machine or flames of war. This is all planning. Planning is when you sit down and you read the rule book, you sit down and you read your army book and you write up draft lists, and then you scrap them and you write another one, and you scrap that one and you write another one. We've all done it, we've all gone through list after list. This is all the planning process. And once that's done, once you've learned the rules, or you've looked through the rule book, or even if you've played a few games and you know the rules off by heart like me and a lot of other people, can play games of 40k now without a rule book at all. Fantasy not so much. I've only played 2 games of fantasy in my entire life up to date, so that's another story for another day. So once you've read your rule book and you've read your army book and you've got your list in hand that you think is going to be a winning list, even still, you're still planning, because you're starting to think in your head how you're going to use the units you've put into your list, how you're going to use those units together on the table, and what tactics you're going to implement. Are you going to go gun-ho and throw all units forward at the enemy altogether, or you're going to hang back and take them piecemeal, chip away, find the chink in the armour and then strike? This is all part of the planning. So planning is the single most important thing you need to do. You need to have a good solid plan, a good solid list, a good grasp of the rules, know your army book inside out. That's one tip I'll give to anybody. Your codex, your army book, learn it cover to cover, because if you do that, you'll never go far wrong in being able to use your army well, if you know what everything does. No matter, even if you don't use it, if you don't like it, just learn it. It will really be beneficial. So now we've done our planning. Second step in the learning cycle is the act, or to do, or to implement. And this is simply do what you've planned. Now, in our situation here, in this scenario, it would be play a Warhammer game, or a War Machine game, etc., etc. So you'd get, you go down to your local store and play a few games, or get hook up with your buddies, and whatever your gaming, your gaming scene is in your area, just go play a few games, put what you've planned into practice, and just see how you get on, because that's, at the end of the day, all that's important is you make your list, you use your list, you play your games your way. That's the bottom line, it always has been. And again, this isn't a quick fix. This isn't going to, you know, at the end of this video, you're not going to instantly become a better player. That's not what this video is about. This is about giving you the tools to help yourself improve. So you've planned your army, you've planned your list, you've planned your tactics, and then you've gone away and you've implemented them on the tabletop. You could have won, you might have lost, you might have drew, you know, you might have tabled someone, you might have been tabled horrifically in turn 2. These things happen, it happens all the time, no matter who you are. Sometimes the dice abandon you, sometimes you deploy wrong, sometimes you have wrong, you know, bad unit composition, nothing you can do about it. So, this brings on to the next step. And this is the analysis step, or the review step. And what this is after you've played your game, you go away and you sit down and you think about what you did well, what you did badly, how you can improve next time. I'll give you an example. I played a game of fantasy the other week, last Saturday. Don't know what day this is going to be when it goes up. But on Saturday I played a game of fantasy with my buddy Dan, and I lost. And I know exactly why I lost. It's not because his list was inherently stronger than mine. It wasn't because his tactical strategy was far superior to mine. I lost because I deployed badly and I manoeuvred badly on the tabletop, and I didn't use my units in the way they're supposed to use. I was a bit too defensive in some areas and a bit too aggressive in other areas, and that cost me the game. But I know that now. I look back at the game and I think, right, I did this wrong, and I did that wrong, and I did this wrong. So now I can sit down and do not necessarily have to rewrite my list. I can just take another tactical approach towards the next game. And this is what this step is all about. This is probably the most important step. Planning is the most important aspect of the game, but this step of the learning cycle is the most important for you to improve. You have to criticise yourself to the point of almost being nasty. This is how you improve. If you can confidently say to yourself, or you just, you know, talk to your buddy after the game and say, I did this badly, if I had done that, I'd have won, or if I did that, I would have stood a much better chance, or, you know, if I'd have deployed this side instead of that side, you know, there's unlimited number of variables that you can pick out and you can analyse. And once you can start isolating where you're going wrong, this is when you can start changing what you're doing wrong into doing something right, and you become a better gamer. This is what this is about. You know, no one wakes up, you know, one day after playing war games for 10, 15 years and wakes up the next morning and is suddenly a tournament winner. It doesn't happen like that. It happens as gradual progress. You're learning the rules as you go, you're learning the tricks, you're learning your army, you're learning what does what, what's good against what to use where, etc, etc. And it's a very, very gradual process, but that's why I love it, you know? You get better and better and better as time goes on. Which brings us on to the fourth and final step in the learning cycle, which is what we've just been briefly touching on there, is the implementation of your review. It doesn't really have an appropriate name for the step. It's called lots of different things, you know, depending on what book you'll read it in, or wherever you may see it. Basically, this is just a step of you take what you've learned and you change it, and it in turn comes into the cycle. It comes full cycle again. So when you've planned, you've done, you've reviewed, and then you start implementing a new plan to start the cycle again. That's why it's a cycle. And this is how you improve. I keep repeating it because it will help you if you do these simple steps. It's not really much more to say to that. Just remember, plan, do, review, improve, and implement. And that's all it takes. Simple as that. It's not, you know, it's all well and good taking a cut and paste tactic from YouTube. You know, there's great guys out there putting videos up of fantastic tactics, and I'm not knocking them for it. It's a great thing to do. It opens up windows for people that wouldn't have seen them. But that's sort of putting, you know, the eggs in one basket problem. If you play Tyranids like me, and if, you know, a few other bloggers on YouTube who also play Tyranids, if you're watching YouTube videos, there's a lot of videos that stress the importance of a Turbigon. which, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic model. But if you see a video like that about how important a turbogon is, and then you take a turbogon and you think, yeah, I'm going to do well. I know this tactic. I saw it on YouTube. I'm going to use it. And then your turbogon dies turn one. These things happen, Jaws of the Wordwolf. Keep your eye out for that one if you're playing Tyranids. My God, but that's again another story. So yeah, if your turbogon dies turn one, your one-stop shot of doing well in the game is now gone. So what do you do from there? And hopefully, if you can learn the Kolb's learning cycle of what we've just been discussing about your plan, and you do, you review, and you improve, then it'll teach you the tools to react to sudden changes like that on the tabletop. It won't leave you, cut and dry without your linchpin tactic. People have done it. I've done it before when I started learning, properly heavily got into competitive gaming in 40k. I took some tactics off YouTube. I look for tips. I'm sure everyone does. No matter what level of gaming you are, there's always something new to learn off someone out there. A lot of people wouldn't think of half the stuff that's been put up on YouTube and other sites. So it's not a bad thing. But it's when you start relying on on your cookie cutter tactics that you've picked up from YouTube or Warseer, you're going to find yourself in trouble when you lose the key units to that tactic. And that's what I'm sort of trying to say. It's more than just copying someone else and picking up their tactic. You have to be able to create your own tactics and implement your tactics and change your tactics if things go wrong. Things do go wrong. Dice can abandon you. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your tactic is. If you can't roll higher than a 1, you're going to lose a game. Simple as that. But it's that uncertainty that we love so much about playing war games. I know it's why I love it. It's fantastic. So hopefully you've learned something from this. As usual, guys, put your comments in, get some discussion going and debate going. What do you think? Is it possible to improve, or is some people just inherently better at war games, or some people just worse? I believe that it's a bit of both. Some people, others, have a bit more of a natural flair for war games than others. Some people can see beyond the dice and the models to the tactical diversity beneath the physicality of the game. Others just see counters and dice and they move them as the rule says, which is fair enough. So like I say, let's get some debate going. Put your comments in the box below, that's what it's there for. If you're a subscriber, again, thanks for your support. The videos go up for you guys. And if you just stumbled across this on YouTube, or if you search for it, remember to subscribe, guys. I really appreciate it. So yeah, more to come soon. Alright guys, peace out.